Greetings, Guardians. My name is Bife here. There were a solid 18 or so months between the events of Lightfall and the events of Final Shape, and in that time, the Witness had plenty of uninterrupted moments inside the Pale Heart. As we were scrambling about trying to just find a way into the heart safely, the Witness was totally unhindered in its quest to enact the Final Shape. But that plan involved a process, not a single moment in time. The Traveler is an ancient construct of light, an unfathomable being. In order to bring about the Final Shape, the Witness would have to start changing the Traveler itself from within. In one sense, the ways in which the Witness was changing the Traveler were fairly straightforward. Step into the Pale Heart even now and you can see the festering corruption that it has enacted. Particularly if you venture into Salvation's Edge, you can see the decimated parts of the Traveler at the end of the third encounter, during the fourth encounter, and during your ascent up to the final fight with the Witness itself. But this corruption is just a result of the true actions of the Witness. Actions that I believe are briefly talked about as the end result in Ergo Sum, the exotic blade that we receive, and in the new Warlock exotic, Matiodoxia. So today, we're going to examine those and see just what the Witness did to the Traveler while we were trying to fight our way inside. Starting off with the Ergo Sum, there's just a single passage that reveals the corruption to us. It's close to the end of the entire process, but the result is clear enough to see for oneself just from the analogy in the writing alone. The small, relevant excerpt reads, "You are drowning. The water roils, dragging you down, and you are tired. So tired. The deep, dark ocean has gotten into your lungs, droplets of ink dispersing in silver blood. This time, you think. This time it has won. But when you look up, you see a figure diving toward you, fighting their way down through the suffocating waves, reaching out just like you've reached out to them so many times before. You have so little strength left. But you do have it, that last gasp of air in your chest. You reach back, and in your hand is a sword." It's really the first half of that small excerpt that's relevant. The dark ocean having gotten into the lungs of the Traveler, the droplets of ink dispersing through its silver blood. These are appropriate descriptions of the darkness having become a part of the Traveler, merging with its light, making sure that it is no longer a being of light alone. The two powers now dwell within it, and there is some degree of harmony to them now given the absence of the Witness. But in these moments when the Witness still lived and still held dominion over the Traveler, its power was made relatively clear. I believe the first few sentences here adequately display what was happening at the very opening cutscene of Lightfall, where the Witness almost managed to enact the Final Shape for good. Just go ahead and take a quick look at that one more time, and you'll see the last vestiges of the Traveler fighting back against the Witness's influence.
still resisting.
In that moment, the power and the vision of the witness is on clear display, but I think the more ominous display is still in the Metaiodoxia lore tab, which describes the preparation for this moment, preparation that clearly took a long time. In this lore tab, we see a mostly unblemished traveler being subjected to change by the witness. Change that, well, in the process of its description, is very unsettling. In fact, I would go as far to say it's unsettling because of the language used. It's the same language you would use to describe peeling away someone's skin, then their flesh, and then their bone. Before we do read it, a little note on the name of the exotic first, though. Metaiodoxia, which inevitably I'm pronouncing incorrectly, if the internet is to be believed, roughly translates from Greek to vanity. In this case, it's referencing either the vanity of the witness for believing that it knows the best shape to carve of existence, or the vanity of the traveler from the witness's perspective for enacting its game across existence so universally. Either way, the two entities are struggling against each other in this passage, and the witness is clearly winning. Take a listen. The witness has made an old friend of darkness. It knows intimately the language of warp and weft, how to weave a spider silk notion or slip a needle of intrusive thought into the fabric of another's mind. In its hands, the light should be alien and inelegant, the hammer and chisel so unlike its customary tools. But though the witness has never wielded the light like this before, parts of it recall a time when they made the gardener's tools their own. But now that power is not freely given. Now every stroke of the chisel is accompanied by a distant wail, a minor annoyance at most. The raw material is mediocre, but a true artist can paint on any canvas. The witness has far more vision than the feckless sphere it has superseded. A paean to our final work. It works in broad strokes first, cuts away the excess, peels back the integument and lays bare the shivering, raw meat of it. In it, the witness sees a glimpse of the sculpture trapped inside, waiting to be freed by its hand. One assistant places the pins, another wipes away the effluvia. A form to teach our enemy fear, a shadow they will dread. The rough grows restless. It thrashes, threatening to upset the delicate work done so far. The witness spares it a sharp, quelling look, and it stills. Nothing may distract the author from its work. Onward, it refines the form, tearing wings of muscle away from bone, carving down, until exposed marrow steams in the cold air. Its tempo increases, its motions grow sharper until it is slashing wildly at its canvas. Its assistants tremble. They do not see that its expression is frozen in absolute serenity. It is as calm and clear-eyed as it has ever been, discarding yards of still-living tripe to reveal perfection. It's having heard this and in this moment that I want to refer back to something we see in the raid. The transition from Encounter 4 to Encounter 5, and also from Encounter 3 to Encounter 4, shows us something important that I think relates to this lore passage. When we enter Encounter 4, aka Verity, it's clear that we're entering the heart of a Tree of Silver Wings, or at least a structure that shares a distinct similarity with it. Perhaps something greater, perhaps something only found in the Traveler. When we reveal the truth of what has happened at the end of the encounter and climb upwards to our final confrontation with the witness, We climb up on what looks like the desiccated and corrupted branches of a tree, or its roots perhaps, something at its core. I don't know if there was anything truly at the core of the Traveler before the Witness arrived. It's hard to tell with all the metaphysical stuff that happens inside the Pale Heart, but I think we're seeing the remains of what happens in Metaiodoxia here. The tree, if it was once a tree of silver wings, has been carved away. No more leaves, no more roots, no more seeds, no more branches, no more wings. Only the marrow. Only the terrible taxidermy of the remnants. Imagine, if you will, the tree of silver wings that we saw on Io, and then compare it to the gnarled and dead remains that we see in the Ascent here. This is the scar left by the Witness's passing. In fact, calling it a scar doesn't truly relay the nature of the damage done here. This isn't so much a scar. This is a desiccation. It has been carved away to marrow. This is what remains after the Witness's work. But the Witness saw this and believed that it had created what it needed for the final shape. To the Witness, this should look like perfection. But worse still even than that is the descriptions given to us in Metaiodoxia. We can see as the Witness discards the flesh and musculature of what is presumably the Traveler itself and its interior. We can see it scrape away down even the bone until marrow alone, the purest of light, is all that's left. Here in this moment, it has made clear the terrible truth of its victory. It has made clear the means by which it would defile the universe to create a final stillness. These actions were so horrifying as to make even its assistants shiver, which I believe is in reference to the Dread. If I had to guess who the Witness's assistants were in this moment, I would have to assume that it's probably a powerful pair of subjugators in particular, perhaps the ones that we fight at the very end of the campaign. Given that we now know that the Dread are partially made from both light and darkness through the vision of the Witness, it's possible that this motion of tearing away the flesh of the Traveler aided in the process of their creation. Perhaps that supposedly superfluous flesh of light was the substance it mutated to create its faithful servants. But that's hard to confirm from this alone. For now though, I think that passage adequately displays what has been done to the Traveler and the damage that we now need to work hard to heal. Who knows whether our paltry efforts will be enough to undo what the Witness has done. Hopefully it should be. Should we ever return to the Ascent to the monolith and see the tree slowly regrowing its wings and branches, if it is a tree at all, perhaps we will know that we were on the right track. But that will take a long time. So for the moment, keep cutting away the corruption. Regardless, that's the end of our video, and thank you very much for watching. If you enjoyed, go ahead and leave a like, and also go ahead and hit the subscribe button if you want more Destiny lore content. And remember the bell next to subscribe if you want those email notifications. Let me know your own thoughts down below in the comments section. The Metaiodoxia descriptions show us a clearly accurate picture of what the Witness did to the Traveler, but I don't know if it's exactly displayed in Encounters 4 and 5 and the end of Encounter 3 at the raid. If you think it isn't, I'd love to hear from you where you think it is displayed. There are plenty of places throughout the Traveler's heart where the Witness's corruption is directly on display, but I still feel like here at the heart of the raid it's the most likely place where we can see all of it. I'm still not totally sure of everything to do with the raid, so if there is any ignorance that I've parted here, please go ahead and inform it down below. That being said, know that, as always, your viewership is quite enough for me, and that in the meantime, my name is Byf. Por audacia ad astra. I'll see you, Starside.